This is supposed to be a discussion or a dialogue. Dialogue being a conversation between two people. And that is impossible to have conversation with two people, including so many. Perhaps we could take a problem which may affect all of us and discuss it as though it were between two people. Or we could turn this into a question and answer meeting. So which would you like? Discussion being, it generally ends up into an argument, which would be rather futile, offering one opinion against another, one judgment against another, and so on. But whereas a dialogue, a conversation between two people who are friends, who are concerned about a problem which is mutual, and perhaps they can talk over their problems deeply, quietly, seriously, and with a sense of humor. Or we could turn this into a question and answer meeting. There too again, what kind of question one asks, who is asking, what is the purpose of asking, and who is going to answer the question, and so on. All that's involved in all this. So which would you like or think it is proper to either question, dialogue, or discussion? If it is to be a dialogue, what shall we talk about? Remembering a dialogue is between two people, a conversation amicable, easy, quiet, and penetrating. So what shall we talk over together?
I'd like to ask a question, but not necessarily a dialogue. You were saying yesterday that the chaos and the violence in the world is a result of our everyday lives. But I don't think it's as easy as all that. If you take the spectrum, and at one end of the spectrum you put Hitler, at the other end of the spectrum you put a person like Schweitzer, then you have two people who are doing something quite differently. One person is trying to help humanity, the other person is trying to destroy humanity. Now, if you leave that aside for a moment, take any one person in this tent, give them the right environment, the right job, they're free of conflict, they're not hooked on religion or dope, and they get cancer. Now, the conventional religious view would say that it's an act of God, which is obviously crackers. But you could say that this person has a disposition towards a disease. Now, it does appear to me that in the world today that there are people who are definitely for forces of good and for those forces of destruction.
The gentleman asks, why do you say the world is in chaos because we are in chaos, each one of us, uncertain, argumentative, greedy, selfish, violent, which perhaps which may project in the world, bearing in mind that we are the world. We are not different from the world. And there are good people, the question says, and there are some bad people, bad guys and good guys. And would it be erroneous on your part to say that because we live in our own particular individual lives, rather violent, ugly, and so on, that may be quite inaccurate? That's right, sir? What else, other questions would you like to discuss, talk over?
I'd like to ask a question, if I may. I was turning over in my mind what you said yesterday about memories, registering memories. And what concerned me was if you were to ask me a question, if I was to totally experience what you were saying to me, that at the end of the question, if I had totally experienced it, that I wouldn't know that you'd asked me a question in order to be able to answer it. And what I'd like to ask you is it possible that we have two parts to our communication, which are the two hemispheres of the brain, one which only receives and which totally registers all the time, and the other part which transmits, which in fact we need not register, because if we experience that, we need not register it. Is it possible that my mind's gone a blank now? I'm sorry. Is it possible that part of that when we receive, we are not able to blot out that memory, that it is there totally, and that in fact we must use, it's our choice whether we use one side of the brain or the other, and to what extent we use each side of the brain?
And the questioner says there are two spheres in our brain. One that is receiving, registering, memorizing, and the other part, perhaps, the other part which is more free, which is not conditioned, and therefore there is this duality going on in us. And memory, remembrance of a particular, of this sphere is necessary. That's his question. Any other question?
Yes. Would you please talk about the problem that arises when the intensity of one's feelings and emotions block one's awareness of thought?
When one's emotions and sentiments and reactions, which are intense and strong, block a perception, what is one to do?
About meditation, two little things. I understood that meditation is a way of life all day, so you think it is no need to sit down in lotus sit on certain times. That's one thing. And the other thing is when we return from here and we are all alone in the crowd, where do we find the strength to keep on? I feel lost.
Yeah. Is it necessary to sit in a certain posture, lotus posture, introduced from India and the East? Is it necessary to sit that way to meditate? And is it necessary to set aside certain part of the day to have daydreams? And and how is one to have, when one leaves here, to have the strength to face all one's solitude, loneliness, all the travail of life? That's the question. Yes.
Do you see any relation between the awareness and the trust?
And
And the trust?
faith. Oh, do you see any difference between otherness and faith. I don't know what it is about, doesn't matter.
Awareness.
Between awareness and faith. Is there any difference between awareness and faith?
Sorry, relationship between. Relationship between awareness and faith.
What is the, that's the correct, sir, sorry. What is the relationship between awareness and faith? Yes, sir.
I would very much like to ask a question connected with the first question. This is that one can see fairly clearly that one's own psychological pain, the pain in the world as a whole, is caused by us, a projection. But it seems that there is pain in the universe as a whole, not caused by human beings. The sort of thing I refer to is the genetic imperfection, perhaps, with children being born with trifle diseases that one cannot put to human beings. In other words, a slightly imperfect universe which causes pain. This is quite a problem when we think about it.
If I understood the question rightly, and may I put it in my own words, sir, or to see that we understand each other, that there is not only individual suffering, each person suffers in different ways, but also there seems to be a universal suffering, a global suffering. Children are born deformed, mentally retarded, and so on, so on. Now, just a minute, please. Which of these questions do you want to discuss? Which is first, the question the gentleman asked. You may be in error when you say that because we live in chaos, in uncertainty, and violence, and so we create a world that is chaotic, violent, and so on. That may be a wrong question. Are you exact in saying that? I've reduced it to a small thing, sir. And the other question is, do we have to sit in meditation in a particular posture? Lotus, as it's called in India, and is brought over into this country. And the other is, your question.
About the emotions.
Yes, emotions and sentiments which are intense come in the way of observation, clarity, and awareness. And the other question is, what is the relationship between awareness and faith? And that question that gentleman put, which is, there is not only particular human suffering, but there is global, universal suffering. Now, which of these questions do... Huh? Nobody asked my loneliness. I introduced it.
About
I beg pardon?
The question about registration is the two sides of the brain.
Oh yes, I beg your pardon. Quite right. Wait a minute, sir, let me... Oh. The gentleman asked that perhaps two spheres in the brain, one that registers, remembers, accumulates knowledge, experience, cultivates memory, and so on. The other part may be unconditioned. What is the relationship between the two? That's right, sir? No more questions. Now, which paper?
One more question is maybe, please. What is the source of urgency and energy to go into all these questions?
What is the source, the drive, the push, the pressure why should one be interested in all these things?
And so, what is the beginning of memory? And is there a point in time when the mind sees the age of a problem?
What is the beginning of memory and
is there a point in time when the mind sees the age of a problem, like fear being older than jealousy?
and when? I don't quite.
I can see fear is older than jealousy. There are times where I can see the age of a problem.
Over?
But it's a rather serious question of reincarnation.
You want to discuss reincarnation. Now, which of these questions would you like to talk over together? You decide.
Emotion.
Maybe the use of energy. Krishna Ji, could you deal with them all in some way by answering one?
The questioner asked, could you include all these questions in one question, in one statement? Perhaps we could. And that
You said that you should forget the past. And
I never said we could forget the past.
you should forget the past. You said in your context for yesterday.
No, I did not.
When you have got suffering, you have got injured finger, or that comes in your memory. It's memorized, and the past is difficult to forget, you see. You want to know how we can forget the past.
I didn't, forgive me for contradicting you, sir, but I did not say forget the past. You can't forget the past. We'll go into all this by taking one question, which perhaps will include all others. Shall we take? Now, which shall it be? Just think it out, sir. Just look, you've had several problems put to us, and the gentleman suggests that we should perhaps, by investigating one question, one statement, we could perhaps include all the others. I think that it could be done. But which shall we take? Which will include all the others? Just take a second, sir. Take just a second. Let's find out. Which question would include all the others?
Where all these questions come from?
Huh?
You ask, where is the thrust of all these questions?
What is the source of all these questions?
The source of the energy which asks the questions.
Is that what we are asking? Is that what you're interested in, the source of the energy that asks all these questions?
Mr. Martin, could we ask the question, what is insight, and by what process does it come about?
No, sir, look, there's so many.
Registration on the mind.
You decide.
Could we?
You decide, and we're never going to stop. There's too many of us.
You're quite right. Could we take up the relationship between awareness, faith, and emotions, meditation, and what is the need of a brain that it should register at all? Not the two, but the necessity of registering at all. Could we go now by taking one question? Would that? I think we could do it. If I suggest this, I'm not saying it must be that way. I suggest that we discuss what is relationship, which will include all this. What is the relationship between awareness, faith, meditation, the registration, the global suffering of man, in which is included the suffering of each one of us. Right?
And the registration.
Huh?
And the registration.
Which is and registration, I said that. Now, shall we begin by talking about registration and relate that to awareness and to the intensity of our emotions and so on, right? So we'll begin, if we may. If you please correct me, I am not the Delphic oracle. If you think we should discuss something else, we are willing. But let's begin by asking, what is the need of a human mind, brain, to register anything at all? First of all, are we aware, no, cognizant of this registrating process going on? You understand? I'm just beginning with that. Do you, as a human being, know or aware that you are registering? You understand my question? Or you've accepted the statement and then you proceed to question the statement. Are you aware that you are registered certain things? An unhappy incident of yesterday is registered. Are you aware of this registrating process going on? Or you are merely accepting a statement by somebody else? You see the difference? If I accept a statement that you have made and question about that statement, which is one thing, whereas if I'm aware that I'm registering, then my question has a different quality to it, right? So which is it we are doing now? Are we aware that we are registering? Are you aware now, sitting there, that you are registering what is being said? Which means that you are actually listening to what is being said. Right? Are you? Or are you still concerned about why the need of registration? You see the difference? Can we proceed this way?
Yes.
Slowly.
So one's aware that one holds on sometimes to...
What's that?
One is aware that one holds on to what is being said.
Yeah, that's it. One is aware that one holds on to what is being said. Now, why does one hold on to what is being said? When the speaker says there is no speaker, you are listening to yourself, you are investigating yourself. Why do you hold on to a statement made by this person? Which means you are not actually listening to yourself.
So you want to act on it.
No, which means, you see the difference, huh? If you are told you are hungry, that's one thing. But if you are really hungry, that's another. Obviously, right? So which is it? Are you really hungry or you are told you are hungry? Which means, are you aware that you are registering, holding on to a statement, to a phrase, to some conclusion, to an idea and so on, which is registration going on. Right, sir? Now, why do you want to register what is being said? Because the speaker must have either reputation, or you think he knows something more than you do, or you are expecting for him to solve your problems, so you are depending on another. When the other says, please don't depend on anybody, including the speaker. You follow? So, let's be clear in this matter. Are you aware that the whole momentum, the movement of registration, I mean, you can see a tape recorder registering, right? Are you similarly aware that you're recording? Or you have been told that you're recording? See the difference? If you are told that you are recording, that's one thing. It has no value. It's just like a tape, you can wipe it out and new tape can be put in. Whereas if you discover for yourself that you are registering and ask the question, why am I registering? What is the necessity of any kind of registration? Then we can proceed. Then we can communicate with each other. But if you are saying, well, you said that yesterday about registration, I'm awfully interested in this idea, and let's talk about it. Then it remains merely at the verbal level. It has no meaning, at least for me. It has no meaning whatsoever. Whereas if you say, I want to find this out. Why? I register. Can we go along that way? Why do you register if you are aware of it? Obviously, you register when something is dangerous, right? A precipice, a snake, a dangerous animal, or a dangerous man, or a motor coming, hurtling towards you. It's a danger. You immediately register it in order to protect. And also, you register when there is pleasure. So this process is going on all the time. The registration of everything that is dangerous. Right? And everything that gives one a great pleasure. One can say the registration began with the first man, the caveman, however they lived. You can see that there they had to register danger, otherwise they'd be destroyed. So let's find out what is dangerous for us to register, and then we can go on to the other. What is the most dangerous things in life that should be registered? Not depending on individual opinions. I wonder if I'm making myself clear.
Yes.
Because to me, one thing may be most dangerous, and to you say, well, that's too silly. So it must be a common factor for a human being whose necessity is to register danger and therefore avoid. Right? Danger means to avoid it, not going near it, not touching it, not be involved in it. Right, sir? So, what is most dangerous for us human beings?
What disturbs the mind?
Beg pardon?
What disturbs the mind.
No. What is most dangerous, not what disturbs your mind. You're going off into some, please begin at the lowest level.
That's what disturbs me, that's most dangerous for me.
You see, that's what I was trying to avoid. What is most dangerous for me, I said, maybe not so dangerous for another. So don't look at, if I may suggest, don't take yourself and say, this is my particular danger. See the danger of what is dangerous for man.
Threat to survival.
Huh?
Threat to survival.
Yeah, which is non-survival, not to survive. That means, sorry, I'm putting it wrongly. The demand is to survive. Anything that destroys that survival is dangerous, right? For all human beings, not for me or for you, for all of us. Huh? Why? Why should we survive?
May I rephrase the question? What is more important than survival?
We'll come to that slowly. Come to its survival. And the lady says, why should we survive? No, it's a serious question. Why should we survive? What is the need for survival and this urgency, the demand to exist, to survive, to live? Answer it. Huh?
Instinct.
People?
Instinct.
Instinct. That's not it. The birds have the instinct to survive, the animals, the reptiles, the most elemental, everything demands survival. Huh? Fear.
Because we think it is.
Huh?
Because we think it's important to survive.
I don't see why you even ask that question, what is the necessity of survival? Here you are. If you hadn't demanded to survive, you wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't be here. None of us would be here. Or the parents who produce us, they wouldn't exist either. So the earth wouldn't exist. So on. So anything that is dangerous to survival, we must register. Right? Physically, a car coming towards us, we jump out of the way. Right? So there must be some kind of registration to protect the organism, right? To have a roof, to have clothes, to have food. That's apparently natural in every living thing. And so we avoid anything that is dangerous, right? Let's go into a little more. Is belief dangerous for physical survival?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
So you have no belief?
A particular belief.
Huh?
A belief, a conditioned belief which does not
I understand, sir, I understand. I believe in something, or in some idea, in some goal, and so on, believe. So I'm asking each one of us, I'm asking, is belief a danger for physical survival?
No, it may be in those circumstances.
Huh?
Northern Ireland.
In Northern Ireland.
Let's not get into politics right now, please.
Huh?
Let's not get into politics right now.
I know that's...
Misguided conscience can be a hindrance.
Beg your pardon?
A misguided conscience can
No, please. I'm taking belief. Don't begin too many things at once. Take one fact to go off step by step into it. Is belief a danger to survival? I believe in Catholicism, and you believe in you are a Protestant, I'm a Catholic. We believe in different things. Look what's happening in the Northern Ireland, what's happening in the Middle East, and so on, so on. For physical survival, apparently, belief is the most dangerous thing.
Sir, could I ask, do we not need belief in technical matters? If I get a car and drive to the right, I want the car to
Yeah,
turn.
in technical matters, why do you even there have belief? You work and you learn and you go on. Now, just please go into it for yourself. Don't question me. But find out if you have belief, any form of belief, and doesn't that belief divide people? Belief can be a conclusion, a concept, an opinion, strongly held opinion.
Prejudice.
All that include. No, we can put a lot of these words together, but let's find out if each one of us has a certain belief that I'm a Christian, that I'm an Englishman, a Frenchman, or all the rest of it. Isn't that a tremendous danger for physical survival?
Yes, sir.
No, yes, you say yes, sir, but are you free of it?
No, sir.
And then,
Them all. How can you believe in them all? The
Huh?
good in them all. Believe in the good in every one of them.
beg your pardon?
Believe in the good in every one of these beliefs.
So I know we teach in the school every one of these things. So history may be rewritten differently. You're not really interested to find out for yourself. For God's sake, do listen. Are you really serious to find out the necessity of registration and the inadequacy psychologically of any form of registration? That's what we are discussing that. If you say belief is a danger, then why do you hold on to it? Saying I'm a Hindu, you're a Muslim, or you're a Jew, or you're a communist. Why do you hold on to these words?
Because perhaps one doesn't see it completely.
So, the gentleman suggests you don't see this completely. The danger, you don't see completely the danger of any form of belief, which is obviously non-fact. Why do you hold on to that?
a support structure.
Beg your pardon?
All belief is a support structure. And
Belief
it's
is
a
a support
limitation.
structure.
Huh?
Belief is a support.
Yeah, belief is a support. If it is dangerous support, why don't you drop it?
I have dropped some, but I haven't seen
Ah.
all my beliefs. I have not seen all of them. Only when I see all of them, and only then will I drop.
It's like all of us, we want to keep some which is pleasurable, which is pleasant, which is comfortable, and the others we discard.
I suggest, if I may, that it is not the sensations of the physical sensations of a dangerous experience that we register, but that it's the reasoning that we attribute to it at the time that we register in our minds.
That's right, sir. Let's go step by step into it, sir. We have talked about physical survival, and anything that is dangerous to that must be totally avoided if we want to survive. And believe any form of any division between people is most destructive, right? If you are a Christian, I'm a Buddhist, and I fight for my Buddhism, or you fight for something else, there's no physical security. Every war has shown this, right? Every war is the result of our particular conditioning, of our particular beliefs, etc., etc. So, will you drop all those beliefs? Because that is the most dangerous thing to survive, for survival.
Are you saying that anybody who believes in anything, from the people you mentioned yesterday, politicians, priests, gurus, is not being honest with themselves, that only Christianity can put forward the truth?
I can't.
Only the truth available from you, and we must not believe anything from any other person.
I couldn't hear the whole of it, so would you, somebody who has understood it, repeat?
Sir, is that it is not the belief that is the threat to survival, it is the belief in the belief that is the threat to the survival. The attitude of mind, the feeling that the belief is something true for all time.
Sir, drugs are dangerous, survival. Drink is dangerous. Smoking and all this business. Do we drop all those things because they are dangerous?
When we see that
So that just
cigarettes for all time,
so really, we are discussing intellectually, verbally, this idea of survival. We really don't care if we survive or not. We just exist. So, let's proceed from there. Psychologically, why do you register?
fear.
No, just look, sir, look into I can answer these questions very quickly, but do please inquire. It's a conversation between us two. Us two is all of us, you and I, conversation, in which we are saying, why do I or you register psychologically anything? Huh? It may be our conditioning, it may be our education, it may be our social condition and economic and so on, so on. So, we are conditioned to accept this psychological registration. Now we are saying, all right, that's a fact. Now, why?
Does one actually register?
Huh?
Does one actually register, in fact?
When one tries,
Does one actually register, in fact?
Yes, one actually registers, that's the fact. But I'm asking, why? Ask yourself, sir, not me ask you, ask yourself, I register my hurts, my pleasures, what you said to me, what you didn't, you're nagging, you're this, that, 10 different things. Why do I register psychologically? What's that?
Biological registration to protect the organism is transferred to psychological level eventually.
Kiske liye?
Biological registration is gone into psychological registration.
There is biological registration, which we said is necessary, and psychological registration. We said, why do we register psychologically at all?
To be secure.
Huh?
For security, to feel secure.
Is that so? Or you are isolating yourself, which gives you the illusion that you are secure. You don't even...
Because we have no choice.
Because we think we can solve things by thought.
You say we have no choice. Why?
It's human nature.
No, just the gentleman said, we have no choice. What do you mean by the word choice? Is danger a choice? And why do you choose?
Conditioning.
No, don't throw out.
Can we say biologically,
What's that?
biologically, let's say I like smoking or whatever, right? This is dangerous, but it's pleasurable. So thought makes it a choice.
Yes.
Thought.
No, so we are trying to find out the meaning of that word choice, the depth of that word. I choose between two pieces of material for trousers or a coat.
Does it exist?
Wait, choose. And I choose to go to that place and not to that place. I choose this guru and not that guru. I choose to believe in this and not in that. I am questioning, asking you, if you would kindly listen, find out, why do you choose? What is the source of your choice?
Basically, it's inattention.
Protection and pleasure again.
Huh?
Protection and pleasure
No,
again.
no. When do you choose?
When you're free to choose.
Don't you choose when you are uncertain? A man who is very clear, clear, there is no choice. So,
When you don't know.
what?
When you don't know.
So that means what? That's right, when you don't know. Do you think you'll... What's that? What?
One thing you choose on a certainty, the other on a non-certainty.
Yeah, that same thing, when one is very clear, you don't choose. When you know exactly what road to take to a certain place, there's no choice. It's only when you are uncertain, you begin to choose, or ask, question, find out. So I'm asking, psychologically, choice exists only when you are confused, uncertain. No? When you are very clear, there is no need for choice. So, a mind that's confused chooses. Would you? You're all silent in that statement.
Could we talk about why the mind is confused?
Wait, sir. I want to see, please. Look at it, sir. We are discussing, trying to talk over together, why the brain registers. The brain, biologically, we said, organically, must register. Psychologically, inside, we're asking, why do we register at all? Somebody said, we have no choice in the matter. And the word choice implies choosing between this and that. Now, when you see danger, you don't choose. Right? You see danger and move. You don't say, well, shall I go to the right or to the left? Is it right or is it wrong? So, similarly, I'm asking, psychologically, what is the need for registration? Does it help us to protect ourselves?
Yes.
Huh?
When we set out in life, we are concerned with survival of the body, but soon the mind takes over and becomes concerned with the survival of the mind.
That's what we are saying. Physical survival has slipped into the psychological survival. Right? Now I say, why? Identity with whom?
Because we don't really know what's right.
Huh?
Because we don't really know what's right. Not
So,
for sure.
so you want to find out what is right. How do you find out what is right when your mind is a bit uncertain, confused? No, you are going off, you don't stick to one thing at a time. Please forgive me. Psychologically, why do I register?
Because I'm not whole.
No, sir. Look into yourself. You'll find out. In order to build up experience, which is knowledge, which then becomes memory. And without memory, without knowledge, you are nobody. So we say, but I must have some knowledge about, right? Otherwise, I'm nobody. Is that what you say? You're not thinking about all this.
One wants to protect oneself.
One wants to protect oneself.
Against having to...
Biologically, organically, we have learned how to do that very well. In spite of wars, in spite of terrorists, and except the victims. Now we are saying, psychologically, do you protect yourself? What is you are protecting? Please answer me. What is it you are protecting?
The result of all that memory.
The idea of yourself.
Our minds become so cluttered up with what is in our minds that it becomes greater than our experience of our bodies. And so our minds become up there, and that's where we're more aware of our minds than our bodies. And so we think that it's our minds that we should protect.
So you give more attention to your body, and less attention to the brain. You see, you're all...
Other way round.
Yes, get more and more muddled.
Yes.
You see, sir, what we psychologically build, register in order to be something, right? Psychologically, right? I register where I was born. That's simple. The brain registers because it's been trained to accept certain strata of society. And that gives the person psychologically a position, a sense of power, a sense of superiority. So, this registration psychologically gradually builds up the ego, the me, right? Right? Isn't that? Don't accept what I'm saying, please. Look at yourself. If you didn't register psychologically, would you have an ego?
No.
Obviously not. You build your, psychologically you are aggressive, abrasive, violent. It gives you a certain sense of, authority, certain sense of assurance. So this gradual process of registration psychologically builds the sense of the me. That's a fact, no? Me, my opinion, my judgments, my wife, my husband, my girl, your girl, boy, my house, my quality, my experience, my hurts, my fears, I am all that, psychologically, right? It's a fact. You don't have to agree with the speaker, it's so. Then I say to myself, why do I build this ego? Why is there this constant building of the me.
To protect it.
What are you protecting?
Trying to hold on to it more and more.
Yes, sir. After building it up, you hold on to it. You cling to it. You say, I daren't break it down.
Like a sandcastle.
Yes, sand. Don't go off into similes. Stick to one thing. So, why I say, what is the need for it? Because that brings enormous trouble, enormous pain. I'm hurt, I'm frightened, I'm anxious, I'm jealous, I'm greedy, I must not, I must be. You follow? This battle is going on constantly, emotionally getting stronger and stronger, more intense. And what am I building? What is the reality of this structure? You understand the reality in the sense this is real. The microphone is in front of me, is real. Actually, I can touch it. Can I touch the psychological structure of the me? I can't. So it is merely a building up of words. This is difficult to accept. One builds in relationship the hurts, the flattery, the comfort. And so gradually out of that, I depend on you. And you hurt me by doing something. So I cling to you, not to be and so on, on. Now, why do we do this?
We are protecting the part of us that does not know.
I know. We are not going, we don't know what will happen if there is no building of the me. Right? I'll find out. I'll find out if I say, all right. I'll find out there must be a process where the building up is not. Right? Then I'll find out what happens. But to speculate what might happen before this is such a waste of time and energy.
That's the fear.
Huh?
But there's the fear.
What?
That's what makes the fear to do it.
So, first you build it up. Society helps, religions help. Everything helps to sustain the structure. And then you are afraid to lose it. Right? And then you proceed to meditate how to get rid of this self. No? Well, so, before we say how to get rid of this self, let's find out why you build it.
The need for power.
Yes, all right, leads to power. Put it any way you like. But the fact is, this constant assertion, this constant building up of the me, psychologically, is it not a great danger? Great danger in your relationship with your wife, with your girl, with society, with anything. It's not great danger because the danger is that you are in constant struggle, constant battle. No, so find out why you are. Are you aware that you are building the me up? And from that structure, you have strong emotions. You want to express. You want to assert.
Isn't it the need for pleasure?
Yes, all right. It is pleasure. And also it's fear. and also it's greed, and also it is constantly in pain, being hurt, and you know. So don't take one thing and say it isn't that. It is the whole thing.
Do we not believe in a myth? Is there not a myth that we believe in, that if we don't survive psychologically, we shan't survive?
It may be a myth, sir, but can't you throw away that myth?
Haven't we been conditioned to this myth?
Yes, if you are conditioned to this myth, can't you uncondition yourself? Can't the mind say it's nonsense? See, we don't want to do that, and we talk around it all the time. If I'm aggressive, it gives me pleasure. It gives the structure of aggressiveness, makes me violent, rude, vulgar, and I like it. All right, keep it. Don't talk about meditation, etc., etc., etc. If that is a fact, find out why you registered these things, why you hold on, and whether it cannot be totally dissipated. If you say it cannot, that's the end of it. All right, it cannot. If somebody says, find out if it can or not, or then you say, you're an illusion, you're an ass, you don't know anything about it. So whereas I'm suggesting, then psychologically, there is no need for registration. If you see the danger, real danger, as you see a precipice, real danger of the psychological build-up of the me, then you find out how to be free of it. Not you, you're part of that. You won't there will be no toleration of the me. With all the opinions, judgments, evaluations, aggressiveness, fear, pleasure, you know, the whole bundle of it.
What about the registrations that have already taken place?
Huh?
What about the registrations which have already taken place from childhood before you are able to reason in this way?
What about the registrations that have already taken place?
Meditation.
No, the registrations that have already taken place since childhood.
What about the registration that has taken place from childhood? If you see registration is a danger, then the childhood registration till now disappears.
We don't see it though. We don't
And
want to.
That's all I'm saying, sir. We won't see the danger of it. We like it. We like our fear. We accept it, aggressiveness. We like to live in constant battles with ourselves that gives us a sense of well-being, that at least you are alive, and so on and on and on.
Sir, because it's comfortable.
All right, sir, it's comfortable.
But what do we do with the vacuum?
You see, what will you do if you are in a vacuum? That is, you don't know what will take place after you have, if there is no registration. Find out. Not say you live in a vacuum. I'll say to you, you won't. What's that? On the contrary, a man who is in constant battle is not living.
How do we find out?
How do I find out what?
Find out
What's that?
what else there is. What's the alternative to having all this big ego thing? How do you find out what the alternative is? How do you go about it?
I don't
I
understand.
know what an orange tastes like.
What?
You have a bite.
No, he doesn't understand the first question.
How did you do it?
Huh?
How did you get rid of your ego?
How do you know I've got rid of it? No, sir. No, don't bother about me. I've been long time at it, from the age of 15. From the age when I was born, probably it was not there, but that's totally, utterly irrelevant to you. What is relevant is you. Why you have hold on to this thing, this miserable, unfortunate, suffering me. And to escape from that, you go off to India, put on robes and put on beads and, all that nonsense goes on.
Because we live in the past and the future.
Huh?
Because we live in the past or the future.
No, please, don't bother about me. Just find out why you build. See the consequences of this building, this structure, consequences of this structure. And if you like it, if it pleases you, if it gives you comfort, know in that comfort there is tremendous danger that you suffer, that you go through all kinds of neuroticism, what's happening. If you will say that gives me comfort, stay with it.
In other words, we're too lazy to change.
What?
We're too lazy to change.
Yes. Now, how is that? I perceive, or I'm aware that I am building this structure. Thought is building this structure all the time. Sleeping, waking, dreaming, daydreaming, walking, all the time, concerned about itself. Now, what is the way, what is the process to end this thing? You don't ask that.
If I may, I ask, if I ask myself why I collect these identifying things about me, who do I ask in order to get past the me?
No, I'm asking you then.
I understand, but I don't mean another person. I say, how does an I...
I'll show you in a minute. Look.
Okay.
Is it a fact to you that you are building psychologically this illusory structure which has become such extraordinary reality to one? Are you aware of the structure first?
I think so, yes.
If one is aware of it, what do you mean by being aware of it? We come back to the original question. What is the relationship between awareness and faith? There is no relationship whatsoever between awareness and faith. Faith is not a fact. It's a belief.
Define faith.
Maybe
What does faith mean to you?
nothing. Please don't bother about it. So are you aware of the structure? Please, let's be 5 minutes serious. Are you aware of the structure in yourself? If you are, what do you mean by being aware? In that awareness, is there a duality? That is, I am aware of that. You understand my question, sir? I am aware of that light. That light is different from me. Now, am I in that same position when I say I am aware of the structure? The structure is being different from me. Or the structure is me. No, it is not a question of comfort or discomfort. Please move away from those things. Please forgive me, you're just going back to something. which is, am I aware as though the structure was something separate from me, away over there or near, and I, who am aware, is different from that. Or I am that. You understand? Obviously. Right? I am that. That is, the observer is the observed. Right?
It's a question if that's true or not.
No, question it, sir. Don't hesitate. See, it's so simple. I have built up this structure. The structure has been built. And part of the structure is, I am different from the structure. I am the soul, I am the great man, I am the etc., etc. Or I am full of knowledge and structure is not knowledge. Or somewhere, follow? So I'm asking, do you see the structure as something separate from yourself? If you really say no, that means, what does it mean? No, just it's really for half an hour, please put your minds to this, I beg of you. Are you different from your aggression? Obviously you're not. You are aggressive. It's part of you.
We alone can change it.
Huh?
That we alone can change it.
No. Who is we?
I mean, we ourselves, that we can change.
If I was just my aggression, I wouldn't know about my aggression.
Beg pardon?
If I was just my aggression, I wouldn't know about my aggression.
Oh yes, you would.
How?
Your friends would tell you, don't be so aggressive. If he's a friend.
You ask us to look into ourselves, but that surely implies...
No, madam, I'm asking this. Please listen to it, if I may suggest. I'm asking you, how do you observe this structure? You can observe the building, see it away from you, but this structure, you can't separate it. Is say that is not me, it is you. Your fears, your quarrels, your ambitions, your aggressiveness, your anxieties, all that structure is you. There's no argument about it.
But you are not a united thing. You are all sorts of things, and they're all in conflict with each other.
That's what
if you take the side of one part of you, you can observe other parts.
No. The observer is part of the observed.
Yes, but you couldn't observe yourself in totality if you were...
Oh yes,
not
I can
alive.
observe, I can say I am fear. Next day I say I am pleasure. Third day I say, oh, I'm so jealous. But it's part of the whole thing. Now that's what I'm saying. Please, if I may suggest, please give your attention to this, which is, as long as the me, separates himself from the structure, the me that separates itself from the structure, as long as there is this division, there will be conflict. There will be fight, there will be nagging, there will be anxiety, there will be all the rest of it. But the fact is, the structure is you.
So the conflict seems to be inward in the individual, and it somehow seems to be a conflict between what you were talking about, the senses not being fully alert, and also the mind, the intellectual mind, wanting to take individual problems and fears or tendencies
No, sir, all that is included in that. Your individual tendency, idiosyncrasies, your particular talent or lack of talent, your capacity, include everything that thought has put together as me. That is the structure thought has created. Then thought says, I am different from the structure.
I don't think everybody thinks that.
What?
I don't think everybody thinks that they're different from the structure.
I don't know.
Well, I don't.
Do you? I'm not talking to you personally, madam, but I'm just asking. Does each one of us realize that we are the structure, and not structure is not separate from us? If you realize that, if that is an actual fact, then a totally different action takes place.
Are you saying that the part of us, the part of us that's made up of our belief is our outer shell, and that in order to grow and evolve, we have to break through something, and so we create something around it?
I'm not saying anything of that kind. I'm just saying, sir, don't translate what I'm saying to your own. You know, when I speak in India, which I do unfortunately or fortunately, they translate what I say into their own particular language. And most of the languages in India are derived from Sanskrit. And the words they use are loaded with tradition. All kinds of meanings. I say, please, don't translate what I'm saying, just listen to what I'm saying. Which is very difficult because they immediately translate it. They think, by translating, they think they've understood. They've understood the traditional meaning, say, for instance, of awareness. They've got a special Sanskrit word for it, which includes, in that word, there's all kinds of connotations in that word. So, please, I'm just saying, as long as there is a difference between the structure and the observer, there must be suppression, there must be conflict, there must be escape, there must be going off to India to find how to do this and how to do that. Meditate, surely, not cooking. And so on, so on, so on. Whereas, when there is the actual truth, the fact that the observer is the observed, the structure is me. Me is not different from the structure. Then there is a totally different action. That's what I want to get at.
So, if we realize that, and there's a sort of silence, how do we keep that without going back?
When you see a danger, of a precipice or dangerous animal, you don't go back to it. It's finished.
Seems to me that this process of separation is the fundamental process of all the conditioning that goes on. And everything that I seem to do to try and go against this conditioning always seems to be just another part of this conditioning.
Yes, sir.
How on earth do I get around that?
I'm showing to you something. You don't listen. Not that you must listen, sir, but I'm pointing out something. When you say I am that conditioning is not different from me. When that becomes an absolute, irrevocable truth, fact, then there is totally different action out of that fact.
Then what happens?
Then what happens? That's exactly what it is. First, you don't come to it, but say, then tell me what happens. You don't want to climb the mountain, which is arduous, which demands that you carry little, dangerous, be roped. I've played with all this. I've done this, some part of it. It's dangerous to climb mountains, so you go lightly, right? not with heavy rucksack and all the rest of it. So, this demands that you work, that you look. But unfortunately, all kinds of interruptions take place. You don't, so some of you this morning I saw doing exercises. Good or bad, that's up to you. But here you don't even give 10 minutes to find out. Find out what actually takes place when the observer of the structure is this observer himself. The structure is the observer. Then you will find there is no conflict at all, right? When you are that, what can you do? You follow, sir? So there is no conflict. And therefore, there is energy. I won't go more into it because that's true. Where there is energy, complete energy, there is emptiness. That's enough for today, isn't it? Perhaps we can continue with this on Thursday. Would you agree to that, please? Bene.